Start off with Guillermo Vicario. Brian gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. The reality is, the reality is he didn't really have that much to do, Vicario, in the game. He made one good save from Janelt, which was pretty much straight at him. Mm-hmm. He looked a bag of nerves on the ball, kicking the ball out a couple of times. But, apart from that, it was a pretty quiet day for him, to be honest.
Yeah, then I added the... Obviously, he looked very shaky when you mentioned about the corner with that disallowed goal. That save was right at him. Distribution again was tragic. And not a lot to do. I mean, how can you... The only thing he really had to do was a save that was right in front of him.
Yeah. Well, you guys out there are a bit more positive. Well, actually it weren't, because I gave him a 6, you gave him a 5, so it was pretty much bang in the middle of me and you. Okay. As the fan vote gets 5.6 for Vicario. Let's move on to Pedro Porro. Both of us give him a 4, and I thought Pedro Porro, we all talk about Pedro being unbelievable on the ball. He's anything but that right now. He's shocking on the ball, Pedro Porro, right now, and this has been happening for weeks. This ain't something new. Defensively, I thought he did really well yesterday. Not much came down his side, but on the ball, there was one moment he was in like the 10 position. All he has to do is slot through Richarlison. Couldn't do it.
Yep. Even with some of his long passing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where we retrieved the ball back, even at the end of the game, and rather than just Pedro taking his time, putting his foot on the ball, having a look at what's about, and then he was just lashing the pass. It was like just get it away and out of danger. Really, really poor passing performance and from him. Defensively, he was sound, but we needed his passing and vision yesterday, and it was not with us.
No, not at all. The fan vote give him 4.9, so a bit more positive than us two.
No. Oh yeah, we gave him a 4.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cooty Romero up next. 5s all round for Cooty. He gets a 5 from us, 5.6 from the fan vote, so a bit more positive again than us here in the studio. But I thought he was a bit erratic at times, Christian Romero. I felt like it took him a bit of time to get into the game, and I thought in the latter stages he actually grew into it a bit more, but he should have been sent off. Last man, mistimed his challenge and completely takes out the man. So he was lucky to stay on the pitch, and I thought he was just a yard off the pace yesterday.
He was, and then I think he played in the first half a couple of balls through the lines where he actually just tried to get us moving, but then he was just absent. And the only time you saw him was when it was danger, like the challenge he should have been sent off for. A real low performance from him.
Yeah. Next up is Big Mickey van der Ven, 7s all round. Probably the only one that kept up his standards on the day for Spurs. I thought in the first half particularly, he was fantastic. It felt like everything. He was like a magnet to him, wasn't it? And any time it looked like Brentford were getting in any sort of advancing positions, he was there to snuff out the danger. There was one like overhead clearance in the box, reminiscent of Bilbao that we saw. If it wasn't for Mickey yesterday, I dread to think what the score was going to be. Yeah,
like I said, first half he was simply everywhere, wasn't he? Any danger, he was there sniffing it out. A little bit quieter in the second half, but by a country mile our best player on the night, and the only player that actually looked like he was committed to the cause.
Mm-hmm. And the fans giving me exactly the same as us, 7 for Mickey van der Ven. Next up is Jed Spence, 5s all round for Jed, and a bit similar to Pedro Porro, Jed Spence, where defensively I thought he was sound. He was trying to work his way down that left-hand side with little quality, really. I don't think he impacted much going forward. So, a bit hot and cold from Jed. Good defensively, but very poor offensively.
Yeah, it was like huffing and puffing, but not blowing the house down. He's got so much energy to burn, but he's going absolutely nowhere with it. It's all well and good running up and down the pitch and doing that, but he was offering very little, wasn't he?
Yeah. Who do we have next? Rodrigo Bentancur, 5s all round for Bentancur. I thought he put in a real big defensive shift yesterday, and he seemed like the deeper of the 3 in midfield. And actually, in the beginning of the game, I was singing his praises, where he was getting in tight positions, able to wriggle it out, nice little turns out of trouble as well. But he just, again, nothing to drive the team forward, no real quality in his forward pass. And after the first 20 minutes, half an hour, I thought he vanished out the game, really.
Yeah. Again, what we were speaking about, again, he was his anticipation and reading the game in the first half was good. Like you said, a few touches in the first half, trying to link up with Odobert. But then second half, just non-existent. But let's face it, every single player was non-existent in the second half.
Yeah. After Rodrigo Bentancur, we are going to look at Archie Gray. Brian gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. Funnily enough, Archie looked more of a goal threat than any of our forward players. You know, he had that one shot that was blocked that looked like it could have been curling into the back of the net. And with Archie, look, he started in the 10. It's not his position. I felt for him a little bit, but he was struggling to get himself involved in the game, really. That's the reality. Yeah,
I mean, he's coming again. He's been asked to be playing positions that's not suited to him because of what's available or the resistance of Frank to try something new. And he started off brightly and he tried that curling effort, didn't he? But then again, just went non-existent. I think he's going to be a very good player for us. I think he's done very well in the stint that he's had. But yesterday was not a great day for Archie Gray.
And the fans give him a 4.6, so bang in the middle of me and you once again. Joao Palhinha up next. Brian gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. Does what it says on the tin. You know, really good challenges in the middle of the park. But then on the ball, he's passing the ball out of play. And that one ball where he kind of tried to spread it to Kudus and it just goes out of play. It's just like, that is Joao Palhinha in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he won the ball back so well and then just passes the ball out of play.
Exactly. There's nothing more to say. It's like, you know what he is going to do. You know what he delivers. In the tackles, he was getting the job done. But then as soon as he got the ball at his feet, there's just nothing he offered, was there? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Mohammed Kudus, by the way, Joao Palhinha gets a 4.8 from the fans. So again, close to being bang in the middle. Mohammed Kudus, he gets 3s all round from us. Really poor display when you're asking someone to really take the game to the opposition. He just wasn't able to do that. I felt for him a little bit because he always had 2 or 3 men on him and was crowded out pretty much every time he had the ball. No real... But the difference is in this game, he actually had options to pass it to and his passes were just wayward or he just took too long on the ball and didn't get his pass off in the first place. So, yeah, unfortunately, he had little, next to no impact in the game yesterday.
Yeah, that's it. And this is the thing. He does have men around him because they know he was the only creative spark. But he is holding on to the ball too long. He is running into problems. And he is just very, very... He's lost that, like, yard or 2 of speed of thought of just getting the ball away early. And it's not helping him or the team. And he was very, very ineffective yesterday. He started brightly in the second half, didn't he? He tried that volley. Whereas Odobert started...
It was like a 5-minute flash, wasn't it?
Literally. Or a flirt. Didn't get as far as a flash. We all know the quality this man does have and what he can do. But he is running into danger. I think he's trying to overdo stuff, and he needs help. Simmons will be back after the Sunderland game, which will hopefully be a massive help for us. But yeah, not a good day at the office for Mohammed Kudus. Wilson
Odobert got his big chance on the left-hand side from a starting point this time. Unfortunately, 3s all round for Wilson Odobert as well. We were actually praising him in the early stages of the game. You know, he was showing some nice touches, some nice movement, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to really hurt the opposition. And soon after that, we pretty much didn't see him for the rest of the game. Got taken off for Mathys Tel as well. And look, Odobert, as much as he had a really good cameo against Crystal Palace, it was nothing short of the same in this game because he just couldn't hurt Brentford in any capacity.
No, and Joe, like I said, what it was, he had that lovely touch and went on a run. He got into the box and then his touch is too heavy. It's like he does everything to a good standard to get into the position, and then when he gets into the position, he fouls at it. So what looked like a bright start, it basically him and Kudus reversed, didn't they? Odobert started off the brighter in the first half and then was non-existent in the second half, and Kudus was non-existent in the first half and did a little bit better in the second half, but the front line was just tragic yesterday.
Yeah, and when we say better, like they showed a few flashes, but actually didn't hurt the opposition in any shape or form. And last but not least is Richarlison, 3s all round after a really positive display at Selhurst Park. This one, he was a bit anonymous, and I felt like with Richarlison, again, I felt for him a little bit because he was completely isolated up front. Our game plan was basically for every player to whack the ball up to him, and he had 2 big fuck-off centre-backs on him, and he rarely won the ball. And I think he had like six touches in the opposition penalty area. That just shows you how isolated he was yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, also we kept trying to hoof it up to him to get him to control it and hold it up, and he couldn't do it. Nothing would stick. And then the most frustrating thing was right at the end with that cross. That cross right at the death was just. Hell. He should be. He really didn't have anyone around him. He should have been able to put in a better ball late in the game, and it could have been the absolute smash and grab. And it just went straight into the goalkeeper's hands. Yep. To just sum up our passing from yesterday.
That was the moment, isn't it? If we were going to snatch and grab that game, that was the moment. You got Mathys Tel marauding down the left in space. And, you know, Richarlison had like all the time and space to put in a cross, and he just puts it straight into Kelleher's arms. So frustrating. All right, substitutes, Muani, 4s all round for Randall, Kolo, Muani, and I just felt he came on and just didn't impact anything. You know, there was one run that he tried to go on, ended up losing the ball. I don't really remember him doing anything else on the day.
Yeah, he did absolutely nothing, but the only reason I give him a 4 is obviously I always start players on the 5, and he came on, had absolutely no impact whatsoever, but I couldn't give him lower than a 4 because of the time he was on the pitch.
Yeah. Fans give him a 4.5, so more positive than us. And Mathys Tel, he came on, 4s all round for Mathys. And I remember saying to you on the watch-along yesterday, being like, is Mathys even on the pitch? Like, I don't remember him having too many touches when he was on. He could have made himself a hero on the day if Richarlison would have found him at the back post. But unfortunately, he didn't. And Mathys, again, as like Muani, had little to next to no impact.
Yeah, I mean, how do you want him to have an impact when you bring him on at that sort of time? I wasn't actually even going to give him a mark, because what I do when I do these with you is I go onto Ali Gold and see what subs he marks, as in they've had enough time to be given a ranking, and he put him as an NA. So that's what I did. But like you said, as you said, was he on the pitch? You were asking after a certain amount of time, and that was the problem yesterday. We just couldn't even get, even to the substitutes, we couldn't get the ball to the substitutes. It was fresh, ready to go, not tired, ready to be able to make an impact, and we couldn't even get the ball to them.
Yeah. Yep. And last but not least, Thomas Frank, he gets a 2s all round from us. I thought he managed this game horrifically, to be honest. You could see at half-time we needed something extra, failed to make the change. With the starting lineup, I have a bit of sympathy because of the lack of options, particularly in the centre of the park. But even with those options, you've got to show a bit of ambition on the pitch. The tactics are absolutely shocking and non-existent. And, you know, in previous games, I've praised the in-game management in terms of the subs to change the game. Unfortunately, he couldn't do that in this game. You know, what does Mathys Tel need to do to get more than 10 minutes on a football pitch? Like, seriously, it was clear to see that we were crying out for more attacking output. And I don't know, it just looks like the players are devoid of all confidence and look a bit lost on the football pitch. And that all comes down to the manager.
Yeah. I would just, like I said, if he had a checklist to say, did we do this, did we do that, it's a failure on every single facet, apart from obviously the defence and keeping the clean sheet, but that's not the biggest spectacle or the greatest thing to take away from the game. The problem I have with it as well is just in the second half, after that really poor first half, to not try something. You have the personnel there to, like we said, put Kudus in the middle, put Odobert Tel or Muani on the wing, and maybe even put Muani up front, because Richarlison was struggling and lacking, but there was just a reluctance to do any of it, and it really was a awful, awful day yesterday for Frank, and he's only got himself to blame.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are player ratings for the 0-0 draw at Brentford yesterday.